Hello, and welcome to the inaugural Heart of America Athletic Conference Women's Golf Media Day. My name is Emery Songer, and I'm an on-air host and producer at iHeartRadio here in Des Moines, Iowa. And today we're joined by Clarke University head women's golf coach Brandon Schwebke and Maddie Patton. Coach, Maddie, how you guys doing today?
Good. How
Good.
are
How
you
are
doing?
you?
I'm doing fantastic. Wish it was golf weather here in the Midwest, but we'll start with you, Coach. Thanks for taking the time, of course, to meet with us here for Media Day. You're also the assistant men's basketball coach. So, what's your days like at this time of the year as you try to kind of manage both of those roles?
Well, unfortunately, this year it's pretty easy because our men's basketball team isn't playing in the postseason. So it was kind of cut and dry, and we just went straight into golf. And we have a nice indoor facility in Dubuque that we get to use. So we've been doing some indoor hitting, like you said, as we get closer to hopefully some warmer weather and we can get outside. But yeah, it's definitely a balance. There's got to be a daily time that's put into recruiting for each sport, and there's the daily needs of your student athletes. And if somebody needs something, that's your job as the coach. You're in the service industry, and you've got to make time for your players. Otherwise, you're doing something wrong. So yeah, time management is definitely key with those two roles. And I've got a good mentor in Adam Hocking, who is the head men's coach for golf and the assistant women's coach for basketball. So he was kind of doing this before me, so he kind of knows the ins and outs of how to balance things, and he's been a great help. And sharing an office with him kind of makes things a lot easier.
Okay, so let's go ahead and shift focus over to your women's golf program and how much you're looking forward to getting things started with tournaments here coming up. I know the weather doesn't really seem like it's that time of the year yet, but kind of where are you at with your preparations for the season and how excited you are to get out there onto the course?
Yeah, we're ready to get out there, and and then when it's 45 degrees on a day like today, and you're from the Midwest coming out of winter, it feels like it's 75, and you're ready to get on the course. But we'll give it another week or so here before we get out there. It's a little wet. We'll let it dry up, and but yeah, like I said, we're just kind of in the indoor facility, Gantz in town here, getting ready. We've got some girls who are battling through some shoulder injuries, some labrum issues right now. So we're hoping that they can get healthy and be ready for our first event here that's actually at home, which is nice, on April 3rd and 4th. But yeah, we're just kind of playing the inside game right now and hitting on some turf and waiting until we can get outside on the course, which there's been a few days that the course has been open, but we're waiting for that full board.
Absolutely. Maddie, let's go ahead and go to you. I'll ask about the same question. How excited are you just to kind of get out on the course and get the year started?
I'm very excited to get out on the course. There's a big difference between hitting foam golf balls off of turf indoor versus hitting a real golf ball off of real grass outside. So I'm very excited to get out there with my team and actually start playing scrambles and just getting ready to play in real meets.
So, how was the fall season for you personally, and what are some parts of your game that you've kind of been working on since then?
My biggest thing that I need to focus on this coming season, looking back at the fall season, is my short game. I would say that I can drive the ball pretty well and get it the distance that I need it to go, but when I get to the green and to the short game of it, I need to focus on my putting and chipping this season a lot, which has been really helpful to have our GA, Nick Stroshine, out there with us at practice. He does a lot of putting and chipping drills that Schwebke's also continued to work on with us, and that's very helpful. Just as our men's team is also just as helpful with us. They do a lot of stuff with us. They'll go out and play with us if we want them to. So working on playing with the men's team and also working on short game is going to be my biggest focus for this upcoming season.
Academically, what's your major and where are you from?
This year, I actually changed my major from social work to communications. So I'm going to be doing communications with hopefully a minor in marketing. And I'm from Verona, Wisconsin, so it's right outside of Madison, about 15 minutes.
Cool. So you're not too far away, and you know what this
Nope.
Midwestern weather is
Yeah.
like this time of the year. What do you hope to be able to do after you graduate?
I'm not too sure yet. Something working with hopefully advertising or social media marketing kind of thing. My mom owns a restaurant back home, so I've always been doing their Facebook and we would make like fun videos during COVID to bring people in and remind people that we're there. So doing something like that for small businesses kind of thing would be interesting to me.
That's really cool. Coach, obviously, as we get closer to the season, I'm sure these sorts of things become clearer and clearer. So, what kind of goals do you have for your program this year?
Yeah, good question, Emery. And when I took over, this is my second full season with the women's golf team. And when I took over, we had one member on the golf team, and I took over in the fall. And by the spring, we had five. And we've continued to recruit and bring in girls who are capable of golfing, and like Maddie here, who have goals for themselves after college. But our goals are to place in every meet, and we want a team score in every meet. We need to check those boxes before we worry about, going for a conference title and finishing in the top three and those types of things. We have to be realistic with where we are as a program, and then meet those goals so that we can, in the future, and we're recruiting and we've got a good recruiting class coming in, and we're only going to lose one girl going into next season. It's not looking ahead at anything. But we're going to continue to build on our goals. But right now we need to get a team score in every meet, and we need to take care of business. That's our goals.
Where is your practice course, and kind of what's the team get to work on that you think is really, really important at that course and get a chance to develop their game?
We are really fortunate in Dubuque, and part of this goes back to Adam Hocking, who has a lot of connections in the area, where we have a number of courses that we can get onto and go and golf for free. We have the main one that we practice at is Lacoma Golf Club. And what's really beneficial about that is that there is 3 courses on the course. So you have, you're going to be able to go golf 9 holes if you want to. They have a full range. They have a practice hole that's about 130 yards, and they have a putting green. So that's just kind of the jack of all trades place. We, like Maddie hinted at earlier, we like to do kind of station work. We'll do, a couple girls on the putting green, a couple girls on the practice hole, a couple girls on the range, and then we'll rotate, and we'll have, several coaches who are bouncing around to each group. And, I think the feedback on that has been tremendous. And I also think that we've seen tangible results from that as well. Because at the end of the day, golf is a frustrating sport, and it's all about just repetition. And you got to get out there and chip. You got to get out there and putt. And, I think we've made tremendous strides in that area.
Well, with Clarke being located in Dubuque, which beautiful city in eastern Iowa, you have so many different things that make it so attractive to people. Is that something that you're able to use as a recruiting tool for, women's golf as you kind of build this program?
Absolutely. I think a lot of small schools are in small towns. That's just not the case with Clarke. Dubuque is about 70,000 people. And, there's Loris and Dubuque that are right in town too. So it's got a little bit of a college feel. So yeah, it's a place where if you want to have fun, you can absolutely have fun. But at the same time, Clarke is on its own little street, Clarke Drive. So if you want to, spend Tuesday night getting homework done and, being in the library and nobody knows, where you are, you can do that too and get some work done. So I really think it's a balance of both worlds of kind of a small school and bigger city kind of atmosphere. That's for sure.
All right, last question for you, Maddie. We talked a lot about this team and about, what you're studying and everything, but let's talk about your golf game a little bit. What's your favorite club, and why is it such an exciting part of your game when you get to grab that out of the bag?
I think that probably my 5-iron is my favorite club, just because when I first started playing golf, I was very hesitant to use my driver, just because I felt like there was a lot of power in it, and I didn't know if I could control that power. So my 5-iron has always been something that I know that I can get the distance that I need to out of it, but I also can control more of the way that it flows. So my 5-iron is always something that I go to grab.
Is there one part of your game that you think that you've made the most improvement on since you've started golfing at Clarke?
Definitely a little bit of everything, I think. Everyone on my team has been very welcoming of me coming on and learning as I go, just like Shrebke has. Coach Hocking has also been a big part of that. Everyone's very welcoming at Clarke, and I think that everyone on my team is very good at their own little part of golf. So a lot of my teammates have helped me with my driving, so that's gotten a lot better. But also my short game, as I said, I want to continue to work on it, but I've made a lot of improvement, I think, overall, all over the board.
Well, that's great to hear. Clarke University head women's golf coach Brandon Schwebke, golfer Maddie Patton. Thanks so much, guys, for the time today, and good luck this season.
Thanks,
Thank
Emery.
you.